We move on to the section about combining clauses. As we've already seen, there are two types of clauses, dependent clauses and independent clauses. You've seen an introduction to how we combine dependent and independent clauses. We'll go into more details and also as to how we can combine two independent clauses. And if sometimes you could also have a sentence which has got more than two clauses, maybe three clauses. So let's look at these one by one. Clause plus another clause. How can you combine it? One way is you could use some punctuations, or you could also use a conjunction. There are two types of conjunctions. I'll tell you all those. So you could use one of those conjunctions, or you could be using a combination of punctuations and conjunctions. So these are the possibilities. Combining independent clauses. Now we're only looking at independent clauses, and I'm going to refer to them as ICs from now on. Okay, so combining two independent clauses. There are various ways of doing it. Here we look at two sentences. Henry likes ice cream. He eats one every day. What are independent clauses? An independent clause is that which can stand alone as a sentence. So you have two independent clauses. You put them together using a full stop. Another way you could do this is remove the full stop, replace it with a semicolon. And then, of course, the next bit will not be able to start with a capital letter. You'll have to put a lowercase. Here you have it. I see, semicolon, I see. Henry likes ice cream, semicolon, he eats one every day. Now, what is the third way? You can use a fanboys conjunction. I'll explain what a fanboys conjunction is. Just understand, you can use a fanboys conjunction to combine two ICs. IC, comma, fanboys conjunction, IC. Okay, so what is a fanboys conjunction? Now, fanboys is just the first letters of these conjunctions. F stands for, A stands for and, N for nor, B for but, O for or, Y for yet, and S for so. So these seven are known as the fanboys conjunctions. Nothing else, just these seven. And you can use them to combine two independent clauses by replacing the full stop or the semicolon, put the comma there and use one of these. Now, the other thing you need to remember also is that fanboys conjunctions are also known as coordinating conjunctions. I told you there are two types of conjunctions. One is known as coordinating conjunctions or fanboys conjunctions, and the other is called the subordinating conjunction. Okay, so let's see which of these would be appropriate for the sentences we have over here. Henry likes ice cream, he eats one every day. So it could be Henry likes ice cream and he eats one every day, or it could be even so. You will never be tested on which of these is more appropriate and or so, because both would be fitting in. But of course, a but would not be fitting in there, or yet. None of those would fit in. Okay, so I decide to go with so. And therefore, what do? I say Henry likes ice cream, comma, so he eats one every day. And I have to include one of the fanboys conjunctions. I put the comma there, I put so. Henry likes ice cream, comma, so he eats one every day. Next, a fourth way, and a slightly tricky way to combine two independent clauses would be convert one of those clauses into a phrase. Retain the other one as an independent clause. So, Henry likes ice cream, so he eats one every day was what it was. What are we going to do? Henry likes ice cream. The second one was he eats one every day. If I remove the word he, what do you have left? Henry likes ice cream, eats one every day. Eats one every day is just a phrase. What is the difference between a phrase and a clause? A clause has to have a subject plus the action performed by it. If I remove the he, what am I left with? A phrase. So I have Henry likes ice cream, eats one every day, and then I combine with and eats one every day. Right? So you're combining a phrase with an IC. Henry likes ice cream and eats one every day. This is what is known as IC plus converting the other IC into a phrase. What you are now doing is talking about two things about Henry. One is Henry likes ice cream. Second is Henry eats one every day. Right? So likes ice cream is item number one in the list. Eats one every day is the second item in the list. You're putting them together. Whenever you have two items in a list, X and Y, you do not put comma. So that is why there's no comma there. Henry likes ice cream and eats one every day. You're combining an IC with a phrase, hence no comma. The other way of looking at it logically is two things about one person. Henry likes ice cream, eats one every day. If you're talking about him in those two, in a list, if you have only two items, you cannot put a comma between them. And that's why it's very important to remember there's no comma there. Now, the other way you could have also said the same thing would be something like this. Henry likes ice cream, eating one every day. Now, this is very awkward construction with this sentence, but many sentences can be converted like this, and this is what you're likely to find on the SAT. In this case alone, it just becomes a little awkward, but it's still a proper sentence. What you've done is, again, converted the IC, he eats one every day, into a phrase, eating one every day. That is, it's more a sort of cause and effect relationship. Because he likes ice cream every day, as a result of that, he eats one every day. And therefore, the two are linked. So you've taken out the and there and converted it into, you won't call it a clause because there's no subject over here. You've converted it into a phrase, which is an action, which is a consequence of his liking one. So Henry likes ice cream, eating one every day. Now, the final way of combining two independent clauses would be to convert one of the clauses into a dependent clause, and this is something that you're already familiar with. So you can either convert the first one or the second one into a dependent clause. If it was the same two sentences that we've been seeing so far, that is, Henry likes ice cream and he eats one every day. Again, as I just mentioned, it is a cause and effect. Isn't it because he likes ice cream that he eats one every day? So I can say because he likes ice cream, he eats one every day. So is this first one doesn't have a full stop? Why? Because it's not a sentence. It is a clause. I have Henry, I have likes ice cream. So the subject with the action, but because of this word because. What is because? What kind of a conjunction is it? It is a subordinating conjunction. The subordinating conjunction put at the beginning of the IC has made it into a dependent clause, right? And when you have a dependent clause with a subordinating conjunction at the beginning, you need to complete it with another independent clause. And when you put them together, you put a comma there. Because Henry likes ice cream, he eats one every day. You have this dependent clause, you have the independent clause. Don't forget to put the comma in the middle. Some examples of subordinating conjunctions. I'm not saying it's an exhaustive list. Please go through this, pause at this moment and try and familiarize yourself. When these appear at the beginning of an independent clause, the independent clause gets converted into a subordinate clause or a dependent clause. Both mean the same thing. Then, if dependent clauses are beginning with a subordinating conjunction, you can combine it with an independent clause, where the independent clause could go at the beginning or could go in the second part. So let's look at both those options. If he wants to get into a good college, good college is an independent clause, but I put if there and I have made it a subordinate clause or a dependent clause. It cannot stand alone as a sentence. To complete it, I would need something else. Similarly, when they finish their practice session, you've seen that. It is an independent clause. When I put I created a problem. I need something else to complete it. Although Mary is very talented is an independent clause, although created in a problem there. And the last one, they were all given a holiday. If I put because at the beginning of that, I have created a subordinate clause. It will need the help of an independent clause at the end to complete it. Let's look at examples. If he wants to get into a good college, Peter has to work hard. What is this construction? I have a dependent clause beginning with a subordinating conjunction. I need to put a comma at the end, and then I need to have an independent clause. I reverse the order. Peter has to work hard has come here now. Peter has to work hard if he wants to get into a college. What do you notice? There is no comma there. No comma. Independent clause comes first, and the dependent clause with the subordinating conjunction has come second, I don't need the comma. Another example, because they were given a holiday, this is the dependent clause beginning with a subordinating conjunction. I've got a comma at the end. The workers were very happy, but is the order here. So, same as this subordinating conjunction, dependent clause, comma, independent clause. Reverse the order. The workers were very happy because they were given a holiday. No comma over here. No comma. So let's sum it up. I see. If I do want to combine them, I can, of course, have the full stop. I can also have a semicolon. I can have a fanboys conjunction between them, comma, fanboys conjunction. Or I can convert one of the independent clauses into a phrase. And eats one every day or eating one every day. And then I can convert one of the independent clauses not into a phrase but a dependent clause beginning with a subordinating conjunction like because or when or whatever, depending on what the circumstances are, what meaning is like it is that you want to convey. And in this case, of course, it was a cause and effect relationship, so I made it because Henry likes ice cream, he eats one every